Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The buzz around the NFL world just got a lot louder, and it's all about the Miami Dolphins making a move that nobody saw coming, yet everybody is already talking about. Reports are swirling that the Dolphins have managed to outmaneuver the Las Vegas Raiders and secure the services of tight end sensation Brock Bowers, a player whose college career had already marked him as a generational talent. The whispers began late last night, first trickling through insider circles, then spreading like wildfire across fan forums, social media platforms, and every corner of the sports media landscape. The Raiders had been heavily linked with Bowers for weeks, and many believed they had a clear path to add him to their roster. But now, in a stunning twist, Miami has swooped in and completed the deal. This isn't just a signing. It feels like a declaration, a statement of intent from a franchise that has been desperate to push beyond regular season hype and make a legitimate playoff run. Fans of the Dolphins are celebrating like they've just won a playoff game, while Raiders supporters are left in disbelief, wondering how their front office let such a prized talent slip through their fingers. Bowers is not just another tight end. He's the kind of player who redefines how the position is played. Known for his explosive athleticism, reliable hands, and ability to break games wide open with a single play, he has already drawn comparisons to legends who transformed offenses around the league. For Miami, adding a weapon like Bowers means opening up a whole new dimension for quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who thrives on precision and timing but has often been criticized for not having that dominant tight end safety valve. Now, with Bowers in the mix, defenses will have to think twice before stacking up against Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, because there's another threat coming right down the seam. For years, Dolphins fans have dreamed of an offense that could rival the most creative and dangerous units in the league, and this move pushes them closer to that vision. It's not just about statistics or filling a roster spot. It's about changing the identity of the team and signaling to the rest of the NFL that Miami is serious about chasing championships, not just headlines. The twist in this saga is how close the Raiders were to making Bowers theirs. All indicators pointed toward Vegas locking him in, especially after weeks of negotiations and media leaks that suggested they were on the verge of announcing something monumental. But in the world of professional football, deals can shift in a matter of hours, and it appears Miami swooped in at just the right moment, with just the right offer to turn the tide. Raiders fans, understandably, feel robbed, as if a piece of their future was ripped away before it even had the chance to take root. The organization has been craving a player who could stabilize and revolutionize their offense, and Bowers looked like the perfect fit. Instead, they now have to pivot, regroup, and answer tough questions about how they let such an opportunity escape. The Dolphins, on the other hand, are basking in the glow of pulling off what looks like a coup, a masterstroke of timing, ambition, and boldness that could define the trajectory of their next few seasons. If you step back and look at Miami's recent history, this move makes even more sense. They've been knocking on the door, building around speed, versatility, and a forward-thinking offensive philosophy. But the missing piece has always been that reliable, game-changing tight end who could stretch defenses, create mismatches, and provide a safety outlet when plays broke down. The addition of Bowers is like adding rocket fuel to a car that was already one of the fastest in the league. He is young, hungry, and equipped with the kind of talent that doesn't just blend in but shines immediately on the biggest stages. Dolphins executives clearly saw an opportunity to leapfrog other AFC contenders and acted decisively. For coach Mike McDaniel, who loves to design intricate, layered plays that confuse defenses, Bowers is a dream come true. The kind of player who can execute complex routes while also winning one-on-one battles through pure athleticism. This is the type of move that excites not only fans, but also shakes up the strategic boards of rival teams. The financial side of the deal hasn't yet been fully revealed, but insiders are hinting that Miami put together an aggressive package to ensure no one else could compete. Some say it involved a combination of draft capital and a contract structure designed to highlight both immediate reward and long-term stability. Whatever the case, it underscores just how committed the Dolphins are to turning potential into reality. This isn't about slow building. It's about capitalizing on the present window where players like Hill and Waddle are in their primes and the defense is showing flashes of dominance. The urgency is palpable, and Bowers fits perfectly into that narrative. He isn't just a piece of the puzzle. He might be the missing piece, the one that turns Miami from a flashy, entertaining team into a juggernaut capable of knocking off the perennial AFC heavyweights. Fans and analysts alike are scrambling to reimagine what this offense could look like come September, and the consensus is that it's going to be terrifying to face. What makes this story even more compelling is the emotional fallout. The Raiders' locker room, already under pressure to deliver after a turbulent season, now faces questions about vision and leadership. Losing Bowers to a direct competitor is more than just a roster blow. It's a morale hit, a signal that other franchises are outmaneuvering them when it matters most. Meanwhile, Dolphins players are reportedly buzzing with excitement, already talking about how Bowers will fit into the system and elevate everyone's game. It's rare to see a signing create such immediate ripple effects, but this one has all the ingredients of a seismic shift. Rival coaches will have to go back to the drawing board, defensive coordinators will be losing sleep, and fans in Miami are daring to dream of something bigger than just playoff berths. They're dreaming of Lombardi trophies. And that's what makes this move so electric, because it isn't just about adding a player. It's about fueling a belief that the Dolphins, with Bowers in teal and orange, might finally have cracked the code to becoming true contenders in today's NFL. As the dust settles on this blockbuster acquisition, the narrative around the AFC East begins to shift dramatically. For years, the division has been defined by the Bills' dominance and the Jets' attempts to rebuild under high expectations. But now, with the Dolphins securing Brock Bowers, the conversation takes a new turn. Analysts are already debating whether this move immediately puts Miami in contention for the top spot, not just in the division but in the conference as a whole. The Bills have Josh Allen. The Jets are banking on Aaron Rodgers making a healthy return, and the Patriots are trying to find their identity in the post-Brady era, but none of those stories carry the same sudden shock value as the Dolphins stealing Bowers from under the Raiders' noses. Suddenly, every AFC East matchup feels heavier, more dramatic, like a clash of teams with everything on the line. Rivalries thrive on moments like these, and this acquisition could fuel one of the most competitive divisional seasons we've seen in recent memory. Miami fans, long living in the shadows of other franchises, are reveling in the idea that they've become the hunters instead of the hunted, and Bowers is the spark. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? Speculation is running wild about how Bowers will fit into Miami's offensive scheme, and every prediction seems more daring than the last. Some see him as a red zone monster who could rack up double-digit touchdowns almost immediately, while others believe his versatility will make him the perfect chess piece, moving all over the formation to create mismatches that defensive coordinators simply can't solve. Imagine a scenario where defenses already stretched thin by the threat of Tyreek Hill's speed now also have to account for a 6 feet 4 inches tight end who can bulldoze linebackers or outrun safeties. It's the kind of problem that gives defensive coordinators nightmares, and it's why the hype is skyrocketing with each passing hour. Tua Tagovailoa, often criticized for his limitations, now finds himself in perhaps the best situation of his career, surrounded by weapons that make life easier for any quarterback. The Dolphins don't just look dangerous, they look unpredictable, and that's what terrifies opponents. No longer can teams stack coverage on the outside or key in on short crossing routes. They'll have to defend every blade of grass. But make no mistake, this move isn't without its risks, and that's part of what makes the story so captivating. Bowers is untested at the NFL level, and while his college dominance was undeniable, history is full of players who looked like can't-miss prospects only to struggle with the transition to the pros. The speed of the game, the complexity of defenses, the physical toll, it's all magnified once you step onto an NFL field. Critics are already cautioning against crowning Miami champions before a single snap has been played. They argue that banking so heavily on a rookie, even one as talented as Bowers, could backfire if he doesn't live up to expectations right away. The Dolphins have invested not just money but also a massive slice of their future in this move, and if Bowers stumbles, the narrative could flip overnight. Still, the sheer excitement outweighs the skepticism for now. Fans want to dream, And with the energy surrounding this signing, the dream feels tangible. Miami has taken a swing, and the NFL world will be watching to see if it connects for a home run or falls flat. Meanwhile, Raiders Nation is left to pick up the pieces, and the reaction is raw, emotional, and divided. Many fans are furious with the front office, demanding answers as to how the team could let such a prime target slip away. Others are more resigned, chalking it up to another chapter in the long history of heartbreaks and missed opportunities. Local media in Las Vegas is already calling it one of the most devastating near misses in recent franchise memory, especially because the Raiders had reportedly been so close to finalizing their side of the deal. The sting isn't just about losing a talented player. It's about losing him to another team that will now face the Raiders down the road. Watching Bowers line up in teal and orange instead of silver and black will be a tough pill to swallow, particularly if he explodes onto the scene, as many expect. Rivalries in the NFL often ignite from moments of betrayal or disappointment, and this saga could spark a new tension between Miami and Vegas. For now, though, Raiders fans are left staring at what could have been, while Dolphins supporters live out what feels like a dream. Across the broader NFL landscape, the ripple effects are just beginning to show. Other teams in need of tight end help are now scrambling to reassess their options, realizing that one of the most coveted names is officially off the market. Agents representing other players at the position are surely licking their lips, knowing that desperation could drive prices up for those still available. Coaches and general managers across the league are also paying close attention, because the Dolphins have raised the bar in terms of boldness, aggression, and sheer willingness to make a splash. It's a reminder that in today's NFL, standing still is the same as falling behind. Miami has thrown down the gauntlet, and now others must decide whether to respond with moves of their own. This isn't just a signing. It's a shift in the balance of power, however temporary, and it forces every contender to rethink their strategies. Even teams like the Chiefs or the Ravens, with established rosters, will have to keep an eye on Miami now, because the Dolphins have made themselves impossible to ignore. Ultimately, the story of Brock Bowers and the Miami Dolphins is more than a transaction. It's a spectacle, a narrative that blends ambition, rivalry, hope, and uncertainty. For Dolphins fans, it's a moment to savor, a rare instance where their team didn't just participate in the rumor mill but dominated it, emerging victorious against expectations. For the Raiders, it's a gut punch, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can turn in this league. For the rest of us, it's entertainment of the highest order, the kind of drama that makes the NFL such a compelling theater week in and week out. What happens next will depend on Bowers himself, on whether he can live up to the weight of expectation and the hopes of a city desperate for glory. But no matter how it unfolds, the story has already left its mark, shaping narratives, fueling debates, and ensuring that when the new season kicks off, all eyes will be on Miami. Because in a league where rumors swirl and deals collapse every day, this one actually happened, and it might just change everything. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.